Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. Let's say hot off an Eagles win, but like didn't really feel like a great win. I mean, I saw I think it was NFL.com's power rankings. Like the Eagles went down 2 spots after winning, which is
Yeah,
pretty unheard of. But
I mean, I'm not surprised by it, to be fair. I would say to summarize the game, majority of the game, I felt like I was watching two bad teams playing.
yeah, I mean,
There was only a few moments where I thought, wow, the Eagles might be a good team.
yeah, so I didn't really get to I guess immerse myself in watching it really intently like I normally do. Because I was I had to watch it on my phone and I was away I was in Canada for shout out my buddy Raul just got married. So I think he was actually on an episode of the pod one time. We did a little interview about I think Canadian basketball and stuff. But anyways,
Mr. International.
Mr. International was a 305.
Look at you,
Um
worldwide.
that's worldwide, yeah. Um But yeah, I don't know. After reading, like I saw some people put together these some guy on Twitter put together a bunch of threads of like a breakdown of the game offensively, and they I wonder if they just didn't get a lot of possessions maybe, but it seemed like they weren't playing bad. They just weren't like explosive plays per se. Um I mean the defense had I mean that line is terrible on Cleveland, but the defense did have five
Yeah.
sacks. Um
I mean,
And
they
boy,
are terrible, but Deshaun Watson also just holds the ball. It wasn't, I mean, time of possession, we had it for 28 and a half minutes. Cleveland had a 31 and a half. So it's a pretty even split, but I do agree with you. There was the first half, I felt like it was just three and out every single drive. The first
yeah,
quarter, I feel like we did absolutely nothing. I don't think we got a first down in the first quarter.
I missed pretty much most of the first quarter because
You didn't miss much.
I don't for whatever reason Fox like it works on my TV, but then when I go to watch it on my phone, the app doesn't work. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I had to like I had to subscribe to something for like a free trial just to watch the game. But
Probably something to do with Canada. Just blame Canada.
or yeah, Canada. But
It's what you
um
got to deal with. It's listen. They won. I mean, we all set the expectations. We wanted a comfortable win because we knew the Browns are a terrible team. I maybe I maybe I overestimated the Browns. Like watching them a full game of the Browns, like they really are terrible. Like
off
you take away
offensively,
that block field goal, this is a very ugly beatdown. Um, but yeah, I mean you're right. Offensively, they are awful. They are so bad.
yeah, I mean,
Now,
defensively, I mean, even like I think people like because of the Browns, like even us, like we were like talking down on them, but like I mean, defensively they haven't been horrible. I mean, they did give up 33 to the Cowboys, 21 to the Giants, and 34 to the Commanders, but
yeah, they're not good. Nothing about the Browns are good. I That's the other thing. You have to take some of this with a pinch of salt because the Browns are that bad. So, I mean, to break it down to pros and cons, see what you say. I think biggest pro for me. I mean, AJ Brown is the most important player in this offense. That I
oh
think was
yeah,
very obvious.
yeah.
Guy comes right back and goes for six receptions, 116 and a touchdown. Like the passing game looked like it was competent. I wouldn't say it was good, but it was competent now that AJ Brown was out there. Hurts looked a lot better. Definitely missed some throws that I'm still concerned about. But that was huge. I mean, Brown's back. He was healthy. Everything was running smoothly. I guess my other pro would be the pass rush came alive. I think the Browns helped with a little bit there, but Nolan Smith was great to see him get a sack. Carter got a sack as well. Josh Sweat got a sack.
Hmm.
The pass rush was alive. Bryce Huff doubled his tackle stats for the season to this past game.
What do you get? Two.
So he's up to two tackles in the season.
Ooh, round of
So
applause.
yeah,
Round
yeah,
of
there you go.
applause.
He got half of his season total this week. So
All
I'm
right,
still
all right.
leaning towards he's dead, but I guess
Yeah,
he takes us a little by surprise.
sure.
Cons for me, the running game. Don't know where the running game went this week. I mean,
They just couldn't do it. They
18,
just couldn't do anything.
18 carries for Saquon. He only had 47 yards.
Did
I mean,
did we get
that's
sacked?
surprising.
Did Jalen get sacked at all?
He got sacked once.
Oh, was it on that stupid third down play?
Could have been. He also had 14 carries. I mean, there was a lot of tush pushes, so I don't know how many that is after you take that out, but 14 carries for 33 is his official stat line. But running game, pretty disappointing. I was kind of disappointed with the running game. It's not like we were leaning all on pass. I mean, 18 carries for Saquon, you'd like to see a little bit more, but it's not like he wasn't involved. So that was my negative for offense, and then my negative for defense is, I mean, the Browns' offense is a joke, but they were running the ball a couple times, couple moments there. They were running the ball pretty okay. I mean, they had to give up on the run at one point, but I mean, Pierre Strong had 5.4 yards per carry.
Yeah, he was doing.
There
It seemed
was a
looked like he was
little
doing whatever.
more. Yeah, they got a little bit more on the ground game than I felt comfortable about. So that they were my kind of pros and cons from the game myself. What were you thinking? Where did you see the good and the bad and
Um,
indifferent?
yeah, I I feel like because I'm looking at the stats as a whole now. I mean, no turnovers. We only punted 3 times, so they must
So
have
no
been
turn. All right, give them that. No turnovers was big.
no turnovers. Would have. I'm so I'm very very disappointed with Gardner Johnson. He'll give you a flash
Yeah.
play, but I've seen him either drop interception or blow a coverage more often than not. I mean, Quinyon had his first pick and he just ran into him for no fucking reason.
Yeah, that's
Um,
zero awareness. Like, dude, you're either trying to steal some guy's pick or you have zero awareness of what's going on.
my
I agree with that one.
my favorite stat of the game that I found recently, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean combined for, and this was DeJean's first time starting in the slot for a full game.
Look good. He looked really good.
They had combined 7 targets, they allowed 2 catches for 24 yards and a 56.2 passer rating. Pretty
Listen,
good for
Gene was
some
everywhere.
rookies.
He put some pressure on the quarterback. He saved that touchdown on the tackle there. He was making plays. He was
I'm
all over the place.
I'm pretty
I don't
confident. I
Maddox
don't
isn't playing again.
I don't know. Yeah, thank God. I don't know what the other defensive rookies are doing, but I think if Quinyon continues this pace and gets like 4 interceptions by the end of the year, I think he's pretty locked into rookie of the year for on defense. Because I haven't heard any other rumblings of other rookies doing this kind of stuff.
I mean, you have to wait and see. It's too early to call that. But I thought rookie wise, DeJean and Mitchell obviously looked really good. What's the dude? I don't even remember his name. The defensive lineman that came out of nowhere. Um, Crazy name, Okabongo or I don't even remember. Okamoa. I forget who he was. I remember just seeing him make a play. Like he broke through the line and like got right on Watson. I don't think he got the sack on the stat line, but I was like, well, at one point, I was like, who is this guy? But I thought the young guys looked good. I thought Nolan Smith had a sack. He was a little more involved. N'Kobe Dean was firing all around, they're making plays. So, there was a little more promise from the defense. Offense, I just want to see a little bit more. It's just the problem is when's the last comfortable win? Can you think of the last comfortable win they've had?
Um, I did see a stat. I believe it said the last time the Eagles won by double digit points was when they beat I believe it's when they beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago.
That would make sense.
I
I
think
would
that's the last time
definitely.
they won by double digits.
That's true. That was 31-7. And well, to be fair, they did beat the Giants by 38-7 in the playoffs that week. So you're talking, all right, just in a whole 2022 playoffs. So basically went an entire season, and now we're what, six, we could say 5 games into this season. So you're
Yeah.
basically a season and a quarter. You haven't had a comfortable win.
Actually, let me hold on.
And
I'm gonna look real quick to make sure that's true.
I'll give you the bright side on this though, while you look this up. This win, and kind of like the Saints win, and I'd say even the Packers win, they didn't seem like just lucky wins. Like they seemed like it was ugly, it was gritty. It was brutal at sometimes, but they pulled it out. Like last year, it felt like lucky wins. Every single game was just lucky. Wide receivers dropping the ball, penalties weren't being called, field goals from record distance in the freezing rain, just ridiculous things going their way. These last three wins they have in the season kind of were gritty, ugly. They stuck it in. They were in it they stayed in the game. They bend don't break defense. The offense made enough plays to get by.
Uh-huh.
So I mean that I can at least take home as a positive compared to last year. Still not great. Still very concerned.
So I think I'm guessing that stat was the last time they won by more than two touchdowns because they beat the Dolphins and the Buccaneers last year by two touchdowns, but everything else was close. And it's weird looking at like when we went on that losing streak or like that, when we were losing every other game. I thought it was worse than it was, but we all these games were close. So I
Yeah,
don't
it just
know,
looked worse than it was. That
maybe.
that was the problem. It looked a lot worse.
Like, yeah, losing to the Cardinals 35-31 is horrible. The Seahawks 20-17. Dallas kind of beat on us.
Well, you got to remember some of those games.
Niners
Remember
beat
back
on
then,
us.
some of those games they were really beat downs,
Yeah, we
and
beat
they
the
just
Chiefs. We beat the Chiefs that year. I remember. I forgot about that.
yeah, because Marquez Valdes-Scantley's got no hands.
Oh,
He
that's right.
literally dropped the
That's
game-winning touchdown.
right. That's
This
right.
is what I mean, though. Like this is the difference from last year to this year. Like no one in the Browns had a touchdown in their hands dropped. Like Cooper DeJean made a huge play to stop a touchdown. That was
What's
a huge play.
what's cr-
AJ Brown made a huge play on offense to score a touchdown. Like we've made plays to win games as opposed to last year we just got lucky and we were winning games.
maybe they need to send me out to a game because the last game I was at was Eagles Bills that went into overtime in the pouring rain, and that was the last game I saw them play with heart. So
Yeah, I mean that was also a completely lucky game too. Again, lucky game. They kick a 65-yard field goal or whatever in the freezing rain
that's just
and torrential
Jake the
downpour, and
goat.
somehow they win. But they get a field goal blocked for a touchdown this week and still manage to pull out the victory.
I
So I
will.
mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
better than it was
I
last year.
think
It's definitely not good, but it's better than it was. I'm seeing slight improvements. At moments in this game, they looked pretty good, but other moments they looked really bad.
I would say think about it this way too. Like if we'd be like everyone in Philadelphia would be having a different conversation if that field goal wasn't blocked and we ended up going down and scoring a touchdown on that play or on that drive or the drive where they had 3rd and 1 and decided they wanted to pass the ball.
Yeah,
And
that
that
was
could have
tough.
been like a 27 to what 9 game or 6 game. That would have looked a lot better. So
I mean, sure, but that was kind of also, I mean, they were in almost a no-win situation going into this week, let's be honest, because you either beat the Browns by a lot and you're like, all right, well, they're a bad team. This is what you're supposed to do. Now you
yeah.
got everyone back. Or they win a close game like this and you're like, oh, they're playing a bad team. How can you make this so competitive? Like, why can't we just put teams back? You're coming off the bye, you got X, Y, and Z back. Or, well, I mean, the other option was they lose and then all hell breaks loose to put the season away. We're going nowhere. So, I mean, they won the game. Hopefully, you can beat up on the Giants this week. This would be an interesting.
I think
The
if
offense is going to have
Neighbors
an interesting test.
I think if Neighbors is out, they should be okay on offense, but or on defense. But this
Yeah,
is the
no
game,
way.
man. This is the game where someone is getting a. We need like a two interception fumble recovery game on defense because if you're gonna do it against anybody, Moyes Daniel Jones a great candidate for that.
It's true. It's true.
So that'll bold prediction. Quinion gets his first interception. I've been predicting it every game. It's gonna happen eventually. Um, yeah, I think we have a right to be hypercritical of this team because of how they've been playing. But I think like with talking to a lot of people, like I think it was a better game than it looked like it was because of the score and the stats. But they seemed to be. I mean, they had less time in possession too. But it seemed like
I mean, not by much.
they seemed like they could kind of do besides the run game do what they wanted. I mean, ballsy call at the end there to for I believe it was Jalen called an audible and threw that deep ball to AJ to seal the game. But like you don't connect on that, and it's
Yeah, but
classic
you know what?
Eagles, you know.
Yeah, but you know what? That's your big plays. That's your big players making plays. Like Jalen should be able to do that. AJ Brown is the most important part of this offense
He's
that
so
becomes
good.
more and more
Man,
clear.
he's so good.
But you know what? That's like what you need. You need to make plays. Your good players need to make plays. AJ Brown wasn't there. We weren't making any plays. Saquon would
Hmm.
have a big play, every other, once a game, but that was it. I'm concerned though that like, and I think this was a glaring issue when AJ was gone, but look at the targets. AJ Brown had 9, which is great. Grant Calcaterra had 4 and caught all 4 of them. He's got to be the tight end one because Goddard didn't got 1 target and didn't even catch it. Devontae Smith got the same amount of targets as Grant Calcaterra. Dotson got 3. I mean, it's nice to see Dotson living and breathing because I thought he was in the morgue with Bryce Huff.
He had a catch
But
for one catch for 10 yards. Let's not get too excited.
I mean, I think like the whole point of this offense was like you have so many weapons to beat you. But we're
Mm.
seeing now like you're getting one big play from Saquon a game. You're getting, a couple big plays by AJ Brown, but they're relying on these single guys too much. Where is the creative scheme that is going to take advantage of the double team on AJ Brown by using Dallas Goedert? Or where is the creative scheme where it's going to have 8 in the box to stop Saquon Barkley, so you have Devontae Smith going over the top for a deep ball?
Mm.
Like I expected the play calling to be a little more creative and be able to get more people involved. Dallas Goedert's literally done nothing,
That's,
and the passing game struggled so much when AJ Brown was out.
I mean, I wouldn't say Dallas Goedert's done nothing. He had that, obviously that
He's done
huge game.
absolutely nothing.
He
I
won
don't know
us
what
the
Dallas
game against
Goedert
the
you're watching.
Saints. Him and Saquon won the Saints game. I don't know what you're smoking, but
All right, let me pull up Dallas Goedert's stats because I can tell you I've seen a lot. The eye test is telling me Grant Calcaterra is the big baller. Yeah, the Saints game he was great.
he's also he got
31,
hurt.
38, even 31 yards, 38 yards, 62 yards, 0 touchdowns. The Saints game was an anomaly. 10 for 170. 61 of those yards came in one play. So yeah, granted he had a big game that week. But this is a top end tight end in the league. I'd like to see him used a little bit more.
That's
Outside
not
that,
his
man,
fault. He's
like,
not getting the ball.
well, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have a scheme that takes advantage of all these good players you have. Otherwise, what's the point?
Well, he's got a hammy injury now, so he's doing the AJ Brown shit where he's going to be out for a couple weeks. So
That's all right. Grant Calcaterra is apparently the man.
I don't like him. I don't think he's
I mean,
good.
he makes plays.
He, yeah, because he was forced to play. He's fine as a receiver, but I've seen him miss so many blocking assignments. It's not good.
Hey, you pick and choose your battles. I
Yeah.
just like to see a little bit more in the offensive game plan. It seems,
I just want more explosion. Like
yeah,
where are the
exactly.
big plays? Where are the explosive plays? Like I'm seeing when I watched the Lions, that's what I thought the Eagles were going to be this year.
Yeah,
Like really creative. Like they did like a triple flea flicker and still connected on a pass. You know, I just don't know how. I don't know why a team that's this talented on offense is so vanilla. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I I feel like this would be the game to get Saquon really heavily involved in his little revenge game. But knowing the Giants and knowing the Eagles, they'll probably stray away from the run if they can't get it going, and then
it's
you
true.
know, but
I would say, I mean, I think you're right. The vanilla hits it on the head. It's a
yeah.
it's a competent, offensive system. It makes sense. They don't have any idiotic play designs where Julio Jones is catching a screen pass on like 3rd and 10. It's not like last year when they refused to run the ball completely, where the stands are just cheering for a 3-yard halfback dive because you ran. They're running Barkley more. They're using him in the running game. I haven't seen any egregious play calls, or I haven't seen any play calls that were egregious that haven't been fixed. Like last year was just incompetent. You had superstars making plays in spite of the horrible play calling.
Mm.
This year it's just you're not taking your advantage of your superstars to the full capacity.
Mm.
So that's what I'd like to see. A little more creativity to use the fact that you got 2 number one wide receivers, a superstar running back, a number one tight end in Grant Calcaterra. Yeah, it's different things like that.
I want more blitzing on defense and I want more explosive plays on offense. I feel like that's not asking too much.
I don't think Fangio is going to blitz. So, it was nice to see a little bit more from the D line, though. So you
Yeah, but
don't have
that
to rely
offensive
on the
line on the
blitz all the
Browns
time.
is wrecked and injured, and so
That's true. Deshaun Watson does love to hold the ball.
man, they are. I feel bad for Browns fans because I was reading into some of that stuff today, like trade rumors, because like there's like a slim chance like Miles Garrett could be made available because you think about it, they would get a haul for him, so that would be part of like their rebuilding process. But you like that you can't do anything with that Deshaun Watson contract. Like you're
I actually saw something, an idea that I think makes a ton of sense, but it's almost unheard of in the NFL. The NBA, they do it all the time. Is the Browns trading like Deshaun Watson and a first round pick and maybe like a third round pick to say the Carolina Panthers, who have so much cap space, they just take Deshaun Watson, they take the massive dead money hit. The Panthers just pay whatever guaranteed money they need to from Watson, just move on from him. But they would get like a couple picks out of it. Like, I mean, the NBA, they do it all the time just to get rid
Mhm.
of salary because their contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single moment where that in the NFL where they had to trade a pick with a player just to get them off the team.
Well, I think it's the owner is the one who's forcing them to start. Because apparently Stefanski wanted to swap for Watson, but
I mean, yeah, if you were paying a dude $200 million, wouldn't you want to see him out there?
or excuse
If
me,
you
Winston, not Watson.
listen, if you had a Lamborghini in the parking garage, you're going to drive it.
It's a Lamborghini that's on its last wheels and it's got a couple
It's
fines, but
it's a Lamborghini was yeah, it's got a boot on the tire. The transmission doesn't actually work, and it's not street legal. You don't even have the registration on it.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Going off that, we've talked about the Eagles. One little nibbit on the Browns.
Mm,
They trade away Amari Cooper.
they did.
You don't trade away your number one wide receiver in week 6 if you think the team's going to turn around. Considering this is almost looking like a lost year, which is very obvious for the Browns, is there any chance that Winston plays games? Because if you're going to put up the white flag, why even put Deshaun Watson out there?
I don't see no, because I don't there I think their season's pretty much done. Um,
No, it's definitely done.
so I just don't see a scenario where Watson, like, what's the point of you like Jameis Winston is a an NFL veteran at this point. Like, there's you're not gonna find out what you have in him. There's plenty of tapes to see what he's capable of. To my knowledge,
No,
they
I
don't
mean,
have a young guy in the wings waiting.
I
So
think the
you
logic is you try to save your season. Winston can go out there and actually win some games. Nick Chubb's coming back this week. Obviously, you moved on from
thank
Cooper, so
God he
that
wasn't
makes them.
there against us. He would have destroyed us.
I mean, you think about it, like Joe Flacco brought this team to the playoffs and they won a playoff game last year. Can Jameis Winston do what 80-year-old Joe Flacco did? I don't know, maybe. Deshaun Watson clearly can.
Yeah, I don't understand what the problem is with him. Ever since he got poked in
It's
the eye, he hasn't been able to see the field.
yeah, I don't know. I think all the lawsuits and injuries and the suspension might have had more to do that with him than poking the eye, but and
I don't
it's
know.
a
He's
weird.
weird. I mean, he was always good. I was in the minority that I did not think he was elite just because he was like he was Lamar before Lamar. Like he was flashy and fun to watch, but like he wasn't winning playoff games. I don't think they won a single playoff game when he was at the Texans. So I don't know. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that
off
that
that, I can't. I mean, it seems almost crazy to think like them firing Stefanski over this, but it's almost crazy to think them like or them not firing Stefanski. Like I can't see them firing Stefanski because who would want to take this job?
I don't
What head coach would want to take this job knowing that Watson's stuck there?
and I don't think it's his like I don't think it's on him concerning what he did last year with, Joe Flacco and
Oh yeah,
man, it makes you wonder though. What if they had kept on to Baker Mayfield and not ruined his Browns career? They because he's I hate to say he is kind of balling in Tampa Bay right now.
Tampa
But
looks legit.
you know what? They do look legit. They put up 51 points on the Saints, who man, they talk about a turnaround. Ever
How
since the Eagles
quickly
beat them, they've been
yeah.
downhill.
Is that
But
our thoughts on the Eagles? Should we go around the league?
I think we've exhausted our Eagles. Um, yeah, so yeah, obviously disappointment. I think I said on the last episode I wanted them to win by like 3 scores. So obviously that did not happen. They
Yeah,
won by 4. Um, I don't think we really need to talk about the whole Sirianni chatting with the fans thing because no one knows
yeah.
what he really said. So I
He
think
does this
it's
all the time. This is who he is.
not. I guess I will say since you and I were talking about it in our one group chat that he does one. good aspect I guess he does have as a coach is that he will take the fall, right? He will he will shield his players and his coaches from being thrown under the bus or which is good and bad, right? But I think it does show a bit of leadership. Like still not sure why what the whole him stepping in to call plays is because he said he made a call on defense, but then Vangio said no, he just gave a suggestion or something or a heads up. So
I mean, that does sound like it sounds like Sirianni coming in like I'll take the heat for this, and Fangio being that old veteran guy, like, no, you're not taking this heat for me.
yeah,
He is, I mean, he's perfect. Like if I'm a coordinator, I'd love to be a coordinator for Sirianni because he's at this point, like we're a couple of years now from the Super Bowl. You're like, he's so easily hateable because he's one of
yeah,
those guys you love him when you're winning, but you hate him when he's losing. And this is
yep,
why the city wants to fire him even when
yep.
they win. But if you're the coordinator, it's the same reason Steichen and Gannon got jobs right away, was because if you're the coordinator for the team, no one really thinks Sirianni's that great of an X's and O's guys, and they just see him as almost a cheerleader and a culture setter. So if the offensive defense is doing great, they just assume it's the coordinator is doing a great job. And then, last year you saw that how bad they were, and people were coming for blood for Sirianni, and he survived that. But now he's kind of eating the criticism again. Players in the same boat, The hate for Hurts fumbling the ball constantly kind of goes away when you just look at Sirianni and yelling at the fans. You're like, I don't even care about the players. I can't get over the fact that I hate Sirianni and want him fired so bad.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because I heard some people were saying that fans were telling him to run the ball or something, and Sirianni was like, he's like, look, I'm doing it, I'm trying, like so and so, and then other people are like, no, he was saying like he was talking shit, like no one knows what he actually said.
And not bothered. This is like when AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts were arguing in the sidelines. I
Yeah,
put
I
nothing
just
to
love
to
seeing
it.
all like NFL media professionals like calling him a clown and embarrassing. I'm like, yeah, but like who fucking cares? So I forget what
We'll see.
who was
Hey,
it?
I'll take another ugly loss if we're 4-2, or I'm sorry, another ugly win, be 4-2. Can't.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, elsewhere around the league, we had a 49ers beat the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Um, man, I kind of hate to say it. Brock Purdy's actually been playing pretty well this year.
He
Um,
made a lot of plays. Yeah, I
he's
gotta
yeah,
I gotta retract my hatred for him.
I will give him his flowers. He's been playing well. Um, so there's that. What was this game in London, Tim? Jags Bears?
It was a London game. Yeah,
Jacksonville is the
basically a
resident
Jaguars home game.
London.
And
Yeah. Not very good though.
man, they
They
are really bad.
I don't know why. I don't know what the problem is, but
Hey, the first
WP,
coach got fired already, so the floodgates are open now.
who got fired? Oh yeah, Robert Saleh. Um
So who knows, man? Trevor Lawrence has got, or I'm sorry, Dougie P's got to smell the hot seat now.
yeah. But yeah, the Bears beat the Jags 35-16. Caleb Williams starting to play better, so there's some
Definitely his
progression.
best game
Yeah.
by far.
He's been every game I think he's gotten a little better, so but I think current rookie of the year leader is probably over in Washington, Jane Daniels. They had a pretty good game against the Ravens. Lost 23, excuse me, lost 30 to 23. But man, we need to do like a radio call in for Mr. Michael Flurry because boy was he wrong yet again on Derrick Henry.
Every year, man. I'm like everyone's been telling me that Derrick Henry's going to fall off like 3 years ago,
He's
and
got
yet here we are.
He's got 700 plus yards and 8 touchdowns through 6 games.
He's great in this offense. I think about it, dude. Remember when
It's
the Ravens were
unreal.
0-2? Remember when the Ravens were 0-2? And
Uh-huh.
I just remember thinking like watching them those first couple games, just thinking like, damn, they really don't know how to use Derrick Henry yet. Like they really need to find a way. Because I was like, that was one of the biggest things that I thought made them look so good. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, they look great. They look like the best team in the AFC, arguably the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, they are definitely on the up and ups. They're like, "Oh, maybe we got Derrick Henry, maybe we should run the ball." Good idea.
Yeah, it helps.
Speaking of the Bucks and Baker Mayfield, they won against the Saints 51-27. Um, I didn't watch this game, but then I was looking at the highlights and it was like a one score game to start the fourth quarter. So I was like, how the hell did they get up to 51? But
Hey,
yeah,
Baker
they
Mayfield was, hey, he was Mr. Entertaining. 3 interceptions and 4 touchdowns. He put on a show.
yeah. Um, so that's been they're sneakily very, very good this year. So I think that's a surprise across the league. Packers, another team with um I love the so the Packers won 34-13 over the Cardinals, but I love the like I don't know how to call this. Like the people are saying which Packer QB is he going to be this weekend? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers or is it going to be Brett Favre because he's very he's either throwing like four picks and four touchdowns or he's like, super, accurate and this and that. And so it's pretty funny, but I mean, hey, they're probably I'd probably slot them in the top 10 so far. They're looking good. Man, their
They
defense
have
is
looked good.
two plus takeaways in every single game this year for the Packers defense.
Yeah, credit to them, man.
Xavier
They
McKinney,
really
man.
are.
I
Yeah,
wanted him. I wanted the Eagles to sign him, but
Joe Schoen, man. I don't know how you keep your job, brother. That's a lot of questionable moves, and you still breathing. So
yeah.
he could, you know what? This could be a Mike Vrabel moment. Was it after AJ Brown torched the Titans? He got I think they fired him and the general manager. Um, if Saquon goes and torches the Giants this week, I have to think Joe Schoen's probably getting fired. It's going to be a tough argument for Mara to keep him after he had specifically said on Hard Knocks he's going to have trouble sleeping. So we know he's not going to get much sleep at all after this game.
I mean, yeah, besides Malik Neighbors, I mean, they haven't really been hitting anything lately, so
No, yeah, I'd have to think he's probably getting fired. When
but
Saquon goes for 200 plus yards on the ground, it's going to do it.
that would be 200 plus
Dead man
yards and they win
walking.
by like three tutties, man. That would make
Oh,
my
he's
entire
fired. He's fired at halftime
at
if that's what happens.
halftime. Um, Elsewhere, Colts beat the Titans 20-17. Um, both those teams don't appear to be very good this year, so that's
No.
kind of a meh win. But Texans beat up on the Patriots 41-21. I'm pissed at ESPN because, or was it ESPN or I forget what fantasy app it was. They told me Joe Mixon was not playing, and then lo and behold, I see him on the field playing.
Oh, you
Um,
buffoon.
yeah, so I was pretty mad about that. But hey, I told you on the running back episode, I said I still like him. I really like him going to Houston, and he's been killing it. When he's healthy, he's
That's
been
what you
killing
told
it.
us.
So
Yep, that's what you told us. Man, I don't get it. I really think, I mean, this game was over. They got some garbage time scores, but I really think you should have sat Drake May a little bit more. Like, what's the rush? You knew what you
yeah,
were. You saw Jacoby Brissett getting broken in half every week. Why rush this guy out there?
I think he
Like,
already has more passing touchdowns than Brissett does all year in that one
yeah, but
game.
the game when they were down by like what 41 points at that point.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to I think technically they're still in it, but we know their season's over. Just wait. Let Brissett go out there. Let him lose some more games. Let him be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Then trot him out there. Give him 10 games to sit behind, see how it goes. And then when the season's completely dead, just be like, go out there, kid. There's nothing to lose.
Hmm.
Learn from it. I mean, I think they're still I'm not going to say they're in the mindset that they need to win, but I think this is still a little early for a project in May.
Yeah. Like I said, Eagles won 2016 over the Browns. The Chargers snapped the Broncos win streak 23-16. Um, Steelers keep winning. They won 32-13 over the Raiders, who shipped out their star wide receiver Devontae Adams to be reunited with his little buddy Aaron Rodgers in New York. So I think it was a third and something else. I forget. But
It wasn't much, yeah, but it was, I guess the Raiders are putting the white flag up as well. That was also a team that, to be fair, that was a trade that it
it
didn't
was
make
bound to
sense of what
happen.
it didn't. Yeah, it never made sense for the Raiders. They were never going to win games. They're in a transition. The Max Crosby rumors has me a little tantalized, but I can't see that
I
one
don't see
happening.
him. I think he has like a Raiders tattoo on his body somewhere. So he's like, I don't want to go anywhere. So
Yeah, and you got the whole big deal. You invest in Wilkins. I think they keep with the defense, but they'll sacrifice their offense.
yeah, I'm confused with them because they looked promising after last year, and then they've just been meh. So I mean, quarterback has
Yeah,
been good. So, but um, Falcons beat up on the Panthers 38-20. Andy Dalton magic is faded away very fast. Um,
yeah, that wasn't going to last. Do we see Bryce Young again?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it always made
He looks
sense
like
if
he's
you
in
were.
good spirits on the sideline. He looks like he's smiling. He's always next to Dalton.
Yeah,
They're
he's like, oh yeah, you get to see what I've been dealing with.
the best was there was a I saw there was a clip of the TV commentators. They were saying something like, "Yeah, this is great for Bryce Young to sit down and watch a real pro at work," and Andy Dalton just throws an interception right on cue for like a pick six. I was like,
Hey man, it's probably
that's
easier to see, and learn from you than interception when you're not the one throwing it.
that's true." Probably my favorite score of the weekend. The Detroit Lions in Jerry's house beat the Cowboys 47-9. An
Wild.
absolute beatdown. And
That
then
was
and then Jerry Jones goes on Dallas radio and starts telling the radio host that he will basically fire them and get somebody else to do their job because they were asking reporter questions about what's wrong with the team. Like,
that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm
oh
surprised that
man,
Jerry hasn't done that already, to be fair.
oh,
I gotta
I'm
say,
loving
this
it.
is the most disrespectful thing I can ever remember in an NFL game. They were desperate to get an offensive lineman to score a touchdown. They ran a hook and ladder to Penei Sewell. They not once but twice throw a touchdown pass to an offensive lineman. Like they were desperate to make this happen. Like the offensive lineman was like fully covered. Like he would have had to make like an AJ Brown to catch to make the ball, and they still throw it at him. The absolute disrespect and lack of sportsmanship that went into them just desperate to score an offensive line touchdown was amazing. And it was by far one of the best things I'd seen in the NFL this entire week.
It's yeah, you talk about a master class and failing to get your team ready because they thought they had the pieces internally. They have zero run game. They can't do anything. And their only receiver is named, CD Lamb, and he can't do everything. So
And we're pretty sure he hates Dak Prescott.
yeah. Yeah. So all right. After the the Cowboys lost, the Giants proceeded to lose as well. Bengals won 17-7. I don't know whose bright idea was to put this on Sunday Night Football. But
Terrible. How the Giants, I don't know when the flexing becomes a thing, but how the Giants and Bengals get to stay at Sunday Night Football and we get flexed playing the Bengals
yeah.
is beyond me.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean, I'm not gonna hate it. I kind of like the 6 o'clock window, but still seemed a little odd.
yeah. Yeah, weird. So yeah, if you're on the East Coast, it went from like a 4:35 game against the Bengals in 2 weeks to a 1 o'clock game. But
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
yeah, they uh
Giants, their defense is very legit.
oh yeah.
Going off that, if they had any quarterback not named Daniel Jones, I think they could really win some games. But Daniel Jones, man, he reminds you over and over again how bad he is. Can't hit a throw to save his life. Can't read the field.
Yeah,
Turnover machine.
I
Don't
saw
think he had any
one
turnovers, but just you can't score with him.
I saw one replay where he had two wide open receivers and he decided to throw to the guy in between who was double covered. So I was like,
Yeah. Oh no, he did have an interception. Yeah, he's just rough. 22 of 41. Like he had a 5 yard passing average, like
hmm.
5 yard per pass. That's just yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough one to Tyrone Tasey, looks like a nice young player. They got nice young players on offense. Neighbors looks great. Tracy has
Hmm.
showed you some love this week, but Darius Slayton, I think, has been reborn. The big problem, man, Daniel Jones is not good. The defense, very good. Daniel Jones is not good.
Yeah, everyone thought Daniel Jones growing a beard was gonna create a
No,
new
no,
Daniel Jones, but
that
apparently
didn't
it did
last
not.
very long. Their
No.
defense, man, they lead the league in sacks. They
Do
have
they
four more
really?
this week. Yeah, they're legit.
Who's I always forget his name. What's their D tackle's name again?
Dexter Lawrence,
Dexter
Brian
Lawrence.
Burns.
Oh,
You got
you hey, you remember you said Brian Burns wasn't gonna do anything, so
yeah, I take that back. I was
mhm.
wrong.
I forgot he
Corey
brought him.
K, he was all over the field when I was watching that game. Tibia didn't even play, but he makes plays when he's there. They're legit. Defensively, they're legit. They're just not going to win any games because Daniel Jones is their quarterback.
No worries. I'm already locked in to be sweaty during this entire game where I
Oh, without
think
a doubt.
the Eagles are minus 3.5 right now. So I'm sure a ton of people are taking that plus 3.5 on the Giants because
How many fumbles does Hurts have?
just one. One
I'm thinking
fumble, one
two.
interception.
I think two's coming. Malata's out. He's going to feel the heat.
We'll see. Well, they're gonna have to they should run the ball. So
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
and then the last game, Monday night, we had the Bills beating the Jets 23-20. I basically only caught the fourth quarter while I waited for my shuttle to get to the parking lot from the airport. Um, so
Very
um,
entertaining game. I did watch it.
okay.
I got to say, the first half was very entertaining. Good
Hmm.
back-to-back football. The second half was ugly, like
Oof.
disgustingly ugly. Missed field goals. There was like 11 penalties just in the second half alone. And you know what was the best part? Like it was almost hilarious that the exact reasons that Woody Johnson said he fired Robert Saleh for was the exact thing that cost them this game. The absurd amount of penalties, the lack of offense. Like it's just everything he fired Saleh for played out exactly like that. They're just so undisciplined. The offensive line is not good. I think it was Jason Kelsey on Monday Night Football put it the best way possible. You look at this offensive line, they look like they should be good. Individually, they're good. I don't know what it is. They play as a unit, they suck because they can't block anyone. I think, dude, up and down penalties on the offensive line just constantly.
Hmm.
Bills didn't look much better, but yeah, it was an ugly game.
Yeah, I saw Tyron Smith, formerly of the Cowboys, is on the Jets now, and he's apparently horrible.
Yeah, he's just man, he's not good. The whole offensive line is just really not good. Rodgers took a
Hmm.
beating. It's just all the penalties more than anything. Like there's just so many penalties.
Yeah, I remember. I think Rogers was on, or I think it was a press conference. They asked him about the penalties, and he said that like the roughing the passer that was called on the Bills against him. He said
Oh,
that
that
wasn't
was a joke.
I didn't get to see it, but he said it wasn't a roughing the passer. It shouldn't have been called.
No, it was a joke. It was body light landing on the guy, but he looked like
Uh,
he was actually moving out of the way, and like if he wanted to land on him, that play would have been a lot worse. Like it looked
mm,
like he was clearly trying to avoid landing on him. So that
damn.
was a joke of a call.
Yeah, I caught the end where Rogers like chucked up to Mike Williams and he fucking slipped. And it was great interception though. Um, but yeah, after the game, he basically called Mike Williams. I was like, "Yeah, you ran a wrong route." Like,
Yeah, that's
damn. But after
yeah.
that game, both those teams made roster moves the next day, and the Jets got Devontae Adams, and I actually really like Amari Cooper going to the Bills. I think that's a sneaky good,
Oh, great pick. Yeah,
that's a
great
really good
pick.
trade. He'll be good for Josh Allen, who's has not thrown a single interception yet through 6 games. Can you believe that?
Wild. No, I can't.
10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think it's 10,
And
but yeah.
I really thought that this would be the year he just turns it over and over and over again because he was gonna have to do too much, and he's been playing really well. Hats off
Yeah.
to him.
That was my MVP pick for the year, so he's killing it. But that's a wrap on what felt like a lot of games. I think only 4 teams were on a bye. Um, so that's a wrap on week 6. So we're already getting to week 7. Trade deadline comes up what next Tuesday or next Tuesday? Forget.
No, it's coming up
But
soon.
see what the Eagles do. I anticipate a trade of some sort. Probably nothing major, but maybe a pass rusher. So we'll see. Um, studs and duds. What do we I'm feeling the duds to get that yucky game out of the way and then studs because then we're gonna beat down the Giants.
Yeah, oh, you're in a good mood. All right,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
We can do that. Alrighty. So going with the duds, Mr. I'm miserable and sad.
That's not what I said.
So we're going with a guy. First guy, we touched on him quite a bit, and I know I said last week that I think it was Derrick Henry. He was number one. He's probably been the most, been on the studs list the most, and probably number one the most of any player since we started this list. And this guy kicking off the dud list has got to be on the flip side of that. I think he's been on the dud list arguably more than anyone else since we've started it.
Hmm.
And I never try to pick on the same guys. Like there's certain guys that just go out there every week and you can just pick them. Like Deshaun Watson going out there every week is usually going to find himself on the dud list. Bryce Young before he got pulled, like these guys suck. They're not really, there's no hope or expectations. And I try to keep it spicy, but it's something about this team, man. They look like they should be good and they look different than they've looked the other years. They've got offensive weapons. They have an incredible defense and they look like they're still going to lose 10 plus games. And it's strictly because of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones just looks so bad. 22, 41, 205 yards, no touchdowns, throw a pick. It's just, yeah, yeah. It gave you a little bit on the ground. I'll give you 56 yards on the ground, but he looks like he's going to hold this team back because the defense looks legit. And I think Brian Daboll, pending a miracle, is probably going to get fired at the end of the year because
Hmm.
it's going to come down to the offense is going to be stagnant. The defense is going to be ready to go. Daniel Jones is just killing them. So he's our third dud this week. Moving on to the second dud, we're going to go back to another bad team. And this one, again, like I said, I don't want to keep picking on the same teams, the same players over and over again. But sometimes you get an opportunity. Even if you're not on a good team, you still get your opportunity. So number one running back gets hurt. Number one running back isn't playing. So number two running back naturally will get a better opportunity. See what you can do with that opportunity. And when Ramondre Stevenson went down and he didn't play, Antonio Gibson got the chance to step up. And boy, I know the game was ugly first, but 13 carries for 19 yards. That looks ugly. That's in a game you're down by 41. I get you're not going to run the ball at all, but boy, under 2 yards per carry. I mean, on a bad team, do something with your opportunity, man.
Yeah.
So he's our second dud. And then moving on to our first dud. Dakota, what gets you on the duds list every single time?
If you get fired,
Losing your job, but
lose your job.
close. I guess you have a hope point for that. And while, he didn't get fired or released, it's very obviously he lost his job. Do you know this was the second week in a row that Mike Williams was the intended target on a game sealing interception?
Wow.
When your quarterback calls you out for running the wrong out and then you fall on your face and let the other team pick you off to lose the game, that not only is going to put you down the pecking order to the point of maybe you're going to lose your job, but this guy, they went and go traded for Devontae Adams because they realized Mike Williams is so bad. We can't keep putting him out there. So, Mike Williams, you've lost your job. Your Aaron Rodgers is never going to throw to you. You've now been on the final highlight in the wrong way for both games the last 2 weeks. And they had a trade to bump you down in the order. So, Mike Williams, you're the number one dud this week.
I did not know he was on the end of both game-winning
Yeah,
throws.
it was on a game, the final drive of the game. Stephon Gilmore picked him off. Just, it's ugly, ugly.
Wow.
Yeah, not a good look. Moving on, going to the good stuff. Since you insist on being happy and joyous, and you're feeling good. I appreciate that though.
Sure.
Moving on to a team that man, they look legit. They look NFC powerhouse. Where are the Buccaneers in the NFC rankings for you?
Lions, I think, are number one.
Niners? I
I
think you're
think the
being a
Bucks
little
could beat the
shy.
Niners.
Yeah, I would say your Fords. Yeah, I'd put the Bucks up there. They look
Maybe
good.
maybe two or
The
three.
Niners,
Yeah.
Niners where they're at. Niners fully healthy beat the Bucks, but Niners where they're at, I think the Bucks can beat them. So I'm going to throw it back to a guy who I haven't seen do anything in maybe 2 years, but came to life this game. Went for 11 receptions, 125 yards, and two touchdowns. In the highly anticipated Mike Evans versus Marshawn Lattimore game, Mike Evans only had two receptions, 34 yards. Chris Godwin put the team on his back, and he scored two tutties. In a game, they needed every single one of those touchdowns. So Chris Godwin coming out of nowhere, really. Third stud of the week.
Hmm. He's
Got to give love,
out of nowhere. I mean, he's been a beast for the last couple of games.
Yeah, he's been all right, but he's been spotty. I haven't seen him make a big impact plays or have a big impact game in quite some time.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm just missing the games that he does well. I guess, that's always a possibility. But I mean, looking at his stats, week two, he was good. He had 117. Outside that, 64, 69, 53, 83. He's got a couple touchdowns. So
Pretty
he's not
consistent
bad.
numbers.
It's not bad, but he definitely kicked the door down this week.
And he's third in the NFL in receiving yards, so I don't know what you're
All
fucking
right, let's
smoking.
get out of here, dude. Move on. Moving on to the next guy. This
And
one, I mean,
tied for first with Mike Evans touchdowns too. So
yeah, well, Mike Evans didn't have much of a game. Chris Godwin went out there bald, so don't take away from his followers. He's the third stud. Get
okay.
over it.
Okay.
This guy, I mean, I'm just going to keep this short because it's nearly every week, but he does incredible things, so I can't keep him off the list. So going for 113 at a 5.5 yard clip, two tutties, 24 carries in a big, big matchup. Derrick Henry's found his spot and he's just killing it. He's just
Man,
killing it. I can't really find ways to not keep him on this list. It's repetitive and old. I get it, but like he just kills it all the time.
is he on pace to break his own personal records?
For what the season like rushing record?
I don't know about yards, but I feel like he's gonna break his own touchdown record high, career high.
Could be,
I mean, he's
I
got
don't know what
what,
his career
eight
high
through
is.
six games that he's on pace for probably around 20 then.
Yeah, he's got 704 yards, eight touchdowns at a 5.9 yards per carry clip. Oh, yeah.
But
He's
he's
going to have a
washed, right?
thousand yards
Isn't he
probably.
isn't he
At his
washed?
rate, he might have 1,000 yards in the next two games.
That's pretty normal for him.
So yeah, he just makes his weekly appearance. I'm just going to pencil him in as the stud weekly. So
Yeah, you don't yeah,
we'll do two studs
two
every week from
studs.
now on.
Yeah, he's different.
Moving on. I think you're going to appreciate this one. I picked this one specifically for you.
Okay.
A guy you're going to be surprised by, but a guy who was mega, mega important in his game.
Hmm.
You look at the scoreboard and you would be surprised that I went this way in this game because his team put up 47 points. The
I know where you were going with this, yeah.
offensive firepower, they were scoring, hell, they were hell bent on getting an offensive lineman to score. That was the only thing they didn't do on offense. But the guy who was really making the plays, I mean, just ruining Dak Prescott's life was Brian Branch, man.
Yes,
Two
sir.
picks, a forced fumble. He
Hmm.
was all over the place, throwing five tackles, a quarterback hit, if you care about that, two pass defense. Like he was everywhere. Three turnovers in one game. That's like, I think that's more turnovers than the Eagles have the entire season.
I think so.
I think so too. One player had more turnovers in one game than our entire defense has had in the season.
Yeah,
So, Mr. Brian Branch,
I
number
wanted
one
Eagles
stud
to
this
get
week.
him, but he's balling. Good
He
for
is
him.
balling. Just, you know what? I got to touch on this because I nothing pisses me off more than when the draft analysts give bad grades to teams because they draft running backs and safeties and linebackers. And you think like, all right, I mean, Brian Branch, Jamar Gibbs, Jack Campbell, they were criticized and ridiculed for how bad value that was. They look all pretty good. I don't remember who was in that draft, but I'm sure there were some bad players taken, a wide
Uh-huh.
receiver, an edge rusher, and we know for a fact quarterback. And it's just like, wait, like, why would you want? I'd rather have a stud safety than a mediocre wide receiver or a stud running back over mediocre edge rusher.
Yeah, and David Montgomery just got an extension too. Their other
Yeah,
running
they
back.
signed
So
Aleem McNeil, their D tackle, to a big country too. Man, the Lions were. He was like, "Fuck, you guys played so well. Here's some money."
here's somebody. Yeah. No, I love to see a DB get some love. I mean, they put him everywhere. He plays linebacker, safety, corner. Very much a hybrid, talented player. But all right, cool. Um, so too much whiz. We got three plates here for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. Start with the first one. Too much whiz. Kevin Stefanski will be off the Browns before Deshaun Watson is.
I'm gonna say too much. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say not too much whiz. Watson's not
Oh,
going anywhere.
oh,
I mean, unless he just looks past Stefanski's not winning and just says, "Hey, I know Watson sucks," but I can't imagine that's going to happen. Stefanski's going to get canned before they ever move on to Watson because they can't move on from Watson. They're going to probably have to give up what they gave to get Watson to get him off the team.
hmm,
So yeah, I think Stefanski gets fired before Watson gets moved.
okay. The next one. So all of these players would be labeled probably the best players on their team slash superstars. So my question to you, too much whiz.
Okay.
One of these four players will be traded before the deadline. We
Okay.
have Matt Stafford or Cooper Kupp, Miles
Hmm.
Garrett or Max Crosby.
I'm not buying any of them, to be honest. Crosby's not going anywhere. They can't. They can't.
Hmm.
That would be the ultimate middle finger to your fan base. You already gave him a middle finger for the Amari Cooper trade. That would be two birds up and, a DX chop if they moved him. I'm not buying the Stafford moving. Like I don't see
I
Cooper
mean,
Kupp, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, a young defense, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford. You can't tell me if they get healthy, they can't go on a run in the end of the year. I just don't see it. Why would you blow it up? McVay's not a coach that rebuilds.
mhm.
And then Max Crosby, I'm just again, he's a fan favorite. They gave him a big contract. They spent some money on defense. You moved Adams, but I don't see the need to move Crosby. You can build around Crosby in the long term.
All right. Um, Actually, hold on. Let me pull some up real quick. So my last, I can't even look at it yet. My last too much whiz. All four NFC North teams are going to be in the playoffs. Now they are all, the Vikings are 5-0, the Lions are 4-1, and the Packers and Bears are 4-2.
No, no,
Okay.
there's absolutely no way. I'm not buying the Bears. I mean, Caleb had a nice game. I think they'll be okay. I don't think they're a serious threat.
If the season ended today, they would all be in the playoffs.
I mean, sure, yeah. I don't think the Vikings are going to finish the season undefeated either.
Okay.
The Lions for sure, right in a pen. Packers, I think, get in as well. I'll be generous. One of the Vikings or Bears are definitely not getting. I think the Vikings have to come to earth at some point, but we'll see.
Do you think the Lions retake that division?
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't think they ever gave it away.
Well, I mean, they're not in first place right now, so
Oh yeah, you're right.
the
I
Vikings are
forget the
5-0.
Vikings are 5-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they haven't played each other yet.
Okay. All right. Moving on to game picks here. So phenomenal week from everybody. We had Mr. Nick Pasquarella, Council Rock alum, on guest picks. He had one, two, three, only four losses. Very
Not
nice, very
bad.
nice. So that puts him at, I think there were 14 games, so what, 10 and 4. Um, you had three losses, so 11-3.
Not bad.
And I only had one incorrect pick. The
Hmm.
dreadful Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know why I believed they had anything left in them.
Hey
So
man, when they go to London, that's what it does.
I went 13-1. I think that might be a record for this podcast. I don't think we've
Yeah,
ever gone
I mean,
perfect,
at least,
so
yeah, I was gonna say at least matched it.
so uh, good job on us. All positive. We'd like to see that. Um and then so we'll get right into our picks for this week. So we are in week why is this not in week we're in hold
Week
on.
6.
Yeah, but the scores weren't populating. Hold on. We are in week 7.
Oh, are we? Wow, season's running away from us.
Your favorite phrase of this season so far, Tim, has been toilet bowl games. And we got one for you on Thursday Night Football. The Broncos visit the New Orleans Saints. Who do you like?
Yeesh, that's an ugly one. I mean, the Broncos find ways to win, but something tells me the Saints are going to find a win here. They're going to win by a lot too. It's in New Orleans, national TV. Plus, I think everyone's starting to think, oh yeah, the Saints kind of suck. We knew they kind of sucked. They had two big games, and then we thought maybe they don't, but no, they suck. But they'll win big here. They'll stay relevant.
I actually couldn't agree more. I do think the at home Saints get a nice rebound after what losing three or four straight. Um, so I think the Broncos have come back down to earth. Next game, we have another. Are the Jags in London still?
Yeah, they never left. I was hanging out with Trevor Lawrence the other day.
Oh, nice. We got Patriot. Do you get to go to any of these games, or do you never really get the opportunity?
Dude, it's nuts. No, you can't as soon as they release tickets, you'd be surprised how popular it is. It is takes
Hmm.
over. They're very popular here. They sell out. Everyone comes from all over England. I get people from all over the place coming to work. They all come for the game and come watch more football.
Does it get really busy at work at the
Oh God,
bar?
yeah. You get the London game, and you get people coming in all day. The city is just overrun by football fans. You see jerseys all over the place.
Yeah, I was surprised when I was in Canada how frequent NFL games were on.
That's a
Um,
moneymaker.
so NFL's probably, when it's on, it's the biggest sport in the world. So
It's true. I listen.
Um,
They're gonna have a. Just wait. Jerry's not Jerry. Rogers' dream's gonna come true. They're gonna have a 9 a.m. game every single week in the coming years.
we'll be playing Iraq pretty soon.
Hey, why not?
Um, so yeah, Patriots, Jags. I think Jags. They.
Man, I have zero confidence in them. But if they go Owen, if they lose both London games, like the London games are usually what they can rely on to like hype up their season. If they lose both London games, Doug's getting fired.
Do you think they? Do you
They're
think they?
London's gonna claim another head coach.
Do you think they fire him and say just stay over there? You can't go on the plane, or do they wait for him to come back and walk to the building in Jacksonville and then they can him?
Yeah, they'll wait till it comes. I mean, you would think Woody would have left Salah in London if that was the case, but no, he let him come back. I'll take the Jags. I mean, they have to win, right? They have to. They've been here for 2 weeks. They have
I
to.
would think so. Um, and yeah, we didn't even really touch on the Salah firing, but that was kind of surprising, but also like I always didn't think he was doing that well of a job as a coach. I mean, his defense was always good, but like everything else was super underwhelming. He had a negative record as a head coach, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just think it just seems like the more you hear about it, like especially after this game, this was Woody Johnson kind of throwing a temper tantrum. Like he clearly didn't like Salah. Like they were talking about because he used to be the UK ambassador. I've been to the embassy, actually gone to
Hmm.
embassy, and they have his picture on the wall or his signature. And like clearly when he was over here living in London, they hired him and he wasn't really involved. And then must have came back and really not like the guy. Because to fire him and you're a game behind in your own division, fire him for losing to the best team in football, I mean, seems a little rough. Considering that the exact move that what's his face Ulbricht made on offensive coordinator, bumping down Hackett, is what Salah was going to do. Kind of crazy. And then the fact that the Jets continue to do exactly what he was pissed off about. It seems like he just didn't like the guy.
Yeah, it was a weird situation. He was like escorted out by security. No.
Yeah, he wanted to speak to the team. He said, "Nope, go fuck yourself."
All
That's
right.
like, it's one of those weird situations. People say, "Oh, my boss hates me." No, Salah's boss actually hated him. He really didn't like him.
Well, anyway, great segue by you, Tim, there at the end of my studs and dud or my too much whiz, because the Lions are actually playing the Vikings this week in Minnesota. Um, I would I'm gonna take the Lions break. They're just I mean they look like the best team in the league in my eyes. I mean besides the Chiefs, I guess, but I mean they're just killing it on offense and their defense is playing better than it did last year. So
You know what? I'm gonna take. I'm take Minnesota
after all
at
that, you
home.
just said that the Lions are gonna take the division and now you're gonna
Yeah,
go
but you
with
know what? This is gonna be a tough.
too
Like
early.
they're gonna have a little hangover. You just crushed the Cowboys, and you're making them look like fools.
Okay.
I think everyone like it's been blowing smoke up their ass, me and you included. But you got Minnesota at home off a bye. Lions coming off a huge win. I'll give the Vikings this one. I mean, it's set up perfectly for the Vikings, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. I think and they were on a bye too, I believe. So
Yeah, they were.
next game we have Titans at the Bills.
Oh, this is the
Um,
Bills. This is gonna be a beatdown. Titans suck.
yeah, I'm excited to see what new Will Levis joke or meme we're gonna get this week. Last week he like broke the ball boy's leg or something, so he's just he is he's endless entertainment. It's great. But next game, a couple toilet bowl games this weekend. Dolphins at the Colts. I mean, I
Ew.
think is Tua playing? I
No, Tua's definitely not playing. But Anthony Richardson, I think, is playing.
okay, so I'm gonna take the Colts then.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts. The Dolphins, it's amazing how like inept they are. Since I know you lose your quarterback, but geez, man, they can't do anything.
I mean, I get it, but like I didn't think Tua was like a world beater. So it's like your defense still has to come to play. So
I mean, competent backups, very important.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll take the Colts as well. Seahawks at the Falcons. Seahawks have lost three straight in Atlanta. I actually think the Falcons are starting to play really well. I'm gonna take the Falcons.
Oh, that one's a tough one.
If it was in Seattle, I'd probably take Seahawks, but since it's
You
not,
know what? A coin flip because Seattle's coming off a big long week. I think they're a little bit better than they've been playing. I'll take the Seahawks.
Okay. Well, let me look at the rest of the games here if I want to declare this an upset. I I don't think it's really an upset, but I guess my upset of the week, I'm gonna take the Packers to beat the Texans. Um,
I mean, the Packers are favored.
are they?
Yeah, they're -2.5.
Okay, well, so not an upset, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Packers at home over the Texans.
I'm taking the Texans. They look really good. They've continued to look good. I think they go on and get a big win here.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I still think they're one of the top teams in the league. I just think at in Lambeau, I don't think they've faced a lot of. I forget what their schedule's been like, but I feel like they haven't played a lot of like top teams. So we'll see. Um, Battle of the orange teams. I don't know why I said that. Bengals versus the Browns. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals here to give the Browns a little beat down, and then the Bengals get a little cocky, and then the Eagles beat them the week after that. So
I'm going to give the Bengals win here, off the sort of fact that if the Bengals lose, all hell's going to break loose on Cincinnati. They're teetering right now because that win against the Giants was not pretty.
yeah, they had like we went through their schedule last week. They got to keep winning. Um,
Look at that. Look how ironic it is. The Bengals are playing the Giants and Browns. We played the Browns and Giants, and then we're going to meet up the week after that. It's like
hmm,
both teams are being built up. You're like, you're struggling. Here's the best medicine for it. Here's the Giants and the Browns. And then you'll go meet up with the other team that we gave the medicine to and see how it works out. And you're going to tell me we got flexed? This is like we're getting our medicine, our mojo. We both ate the Mario mushrooms, and we're going to have a head-to-head battle.
Mario mushrooms. Yeah, makes you think too, though. Like what a absolute nightmare it is creating these schedules every year. Trying to slot all the teams at different spots and figure out who they're like, when they play and when their bye is and all this and that. But speaking of that game, Eagles at the Giants at MetLife Stadium. It's a fucking shithole, even though it's like only 10 years old, but it looks like it's been there for 40 years. Um, yeah, they gotta. I'm definitely on the side of caution here that I do think they'll win the Eagles, but I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think they win maybe by like 7.
I'll take
Um,
that. I'll take that. Go
I would love to
Birds.
see. I'd love to see
Otherwise,
them win by like 3 scores, but that's
yeah.
very
If
that's
they
not
lose,
gonna happen.
Sirianni's getting left there. So go Birds.
Yeah. Then we got Raiders at the Rams. All right. Again, I don't know if this would even be an upset either because they both kind of suck, but I'm gonna take the Raiders here.
Really?
Um, yeah, I feel like they're a weird team where like when something stupid happens to them, they like go and win a game. Like they just trade away their best player on offense, so now they're gonna win a game without him.
Yeah,
Maybe.
generally I steer away from teams that just tear away their best player. So I'll
Yeah.
take the Rams.
Okay. Next game we got Panthers at the Commanders. What kind of game do we call this, Tim?
Get right game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll take
Yeah, that's
Washington.
that's the other medicine that the NFL prescribes you is get a little Carolina on your schedule.
That's terrible. Um, this could be game of the week. Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs at the 49ers.
Blows my mind that the Niners are favorite, even if it's only 1.5.
Are
This
they
has got to be
really?
a Chiefs win. Yeah, the Chiefs have showed you nothing. They just keep winning. They showed you nothing to think that they're ever going to lose.
Yeah, I just fuck the 49ers, so I'm picking the Chiefs. Um, then we got a Sunday night matchup. Why are the Jets in prime time again? It's the Aaron Rodgers effect.
Yeah, seriously. This
Jets,
is like last year when we had to suffer through all the Mike White games.
Jets at the Steelers. Ugh.
Oh, the wheels keep falling off the bus. I'm going with the Steelers.
I would think that I've heard Devontae's gonna play. They've already lost what two in a row. They gotta bounce back eventually, so I'll take the Jets. Steelers defense has been really good, but I don't Justin Fields does not scare me. So for some reason the NFL hates us and we have two Monday night games again. Um 8:15 game. Like why don't they do one at like 6? It doesn't make any sense. 8:15 Monday night, Ravens at the Bucks. Ooh, maybe that might be game of the week.
To be fair, they have two Monday night games, but they made it really easy for us. No one is going to watch the Chargers or Cardinals. So
Yeah.
I'm taking, man, the Ravens are crushing it. I'm taking the Ravens. It's going to be a good matchup, but the Ravens look great.
Do we consider Raiders Rams an upset?
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Because I think I'm gonna tell I want to take the Bucks here, actually.
Yeah, go ahead. Two upsets. Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, in Tampa, they seem to play pretty well at home, and I mean, they're killing it, honestly. I feel like if you can slow down Derrick Henry, I mean, good luck.
Yeah,
But if you
it's a
can
big
slow down
ask.
Derrick Henry, you have a chance to win because their receivers aren't crazy. Um, but I'll take the Bucks. Fuck it, why not? I built up a good of enough lead. Um, and then yeah, Chargers at Cardinals. This is a you're going to bed
Yeesh.
after Ravens and Bucks. You're
Yeah,
not staying up
this.
for this game. 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Listen, I'm buying into Harbaugh a little bit. I think he pulls a little win. The team's not very good, but he's coaching well. They got some good mentality. I take them.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals show some flashes and then they get absolutely obliterated the week after. So I don't really have any faith in them to do anything. I thought they were going to be a little more competitive this year, but they're just super inconsistent. Um, so so yeah, that's that. Um, and I guess just for real quick final note, do we can try and hit on our power rankings. I think for the most part they're pretty much the same as what they were, but let me just pull that up.
I still think it's a hard case to say that the Eagles are a top 10 team.
So last week 6, we had Vikings, Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, Texans, Bills, Commanders, Falcons, Buccaneers, Seahawks. So obviously Seahawks drop out.
The Buccaneers ahead of the Commanders and Falcons.
I agree. Drop the Commanders, maybe a slot or
Pa
two.
Packers at 10.
Yeah, Packers at 10. Um, do we like Lions ahead of Ravens or keep it Ravens Lions?
Nah, keep it. They both had big wins. I mean, the Ravens had an impressive win. The Commanders look like a much better team than Dallas. Like the Lions look great, but man, Dallas looks bad. They are a bad team.
Yeah, and then neither the Vikings or the Chiefs played, but do we like them where they're at 1 and 2?
Of course, they gave me no reason to move.
Yeah, I think I give a slight edge to the Vikings only because, like we've said, Brian Flores is doing a crazy job with that defense, and Sam Darnold is actually playing better than Pat Mahomes right now, so can't can't really knock it.
Yeah.
All right, that was easy. All right, so Eagles play the Giants, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Hopefully this is a game that they wake up and really put it on. I know the Giants have a solid defense, but their offense is not great. I would rather see the defense, make a bunch of plays, get some turnovers, and then win by like 2 scores than I would see the offense just obliterate them. I think it's important to see the defense be able to do something instead of just stand there. So
We'll see how it goes.
we will see. So on that note, go Birds and peace out.
Peace.